Aloha, I'm Sabrina with Begin Being, and last week I did a video on the 8 ways you can know that you're moving into the new Earth 5D reality. In this next video series, we're going to be focusing on the keys that you can use to actively unlock your ticket to the new Earth vibration. Now, Bashar talks about a splitting prism theory, or the splitting train theory, that I talked about in last week's video. It's basically a shift in vibrational frequency that some of us are experiencing, putting us on the metaphorical train to the new Earth 5D reality versus being stuck on the old 3D train. For more information on that concept, I've put in the description below a link to that video. Now, as it's Thanksgiving this week, if you're watching this around the time that it came out, we are going to be discussing gratitude and the 4 ways that you can have a gratitude practice in your own lives. And since it's Thanksgiving week, I also have a special surprise for you that I'll be talking about at the end of this video. When I was getting my psychology degree, one of my favorite subjects was positive psychology. And one of my favorite things that we learned was actually how to have a gratitude practice and different ways that you can have a gratitude practice. And having a practice of gratitude does multiple things for you. So it lessens depression, reduces stress, it improves sleep, it's amazing for heart health as well, and it reduces stress. And as a bonus, it also helps you to go ahead and move into that new Earth 5D reality because it puts you on a different vibrational frequency. Now, I'm about to get into the ways that you can practice gratitude. And first, I wanted to let you guys know what I am thankful for. So first of all, I'd like to give a shout out to all of my students that I've been teaching. And if you've ever been a student and you've written a trainer or a teacher a card, like a thank you card, I want you to know what happens to them. Or, I guess I can't speak for everyone, but this is what I do with them. I actually keep them. So I want to say thank you to everyone who has given me a thank you card, because you guys don't have to do that. I am there to teach you, no matter what. I'm there because I enjoy learning and I want you guys to learn. And another reason why I'm grateful for you guys is because it's not only that I'm teaching you, but I actually learn. Every single time I'm in front of students and teaching a whole classroom full of students, I get to learn from you guys. And when you guys do take your time to write the thank you cards, I'm so grateful and I'm so appreciative of it, because that's it's almost like you giving back. You don't have to, and you did just because that's you. That's the kindness that is you. So thank you very much. I am extremely grateful every single time that I get one of those notes and I read it, and it makes me smile and feel grateful. And the other group that I want to give a shout out to is all of you guys, everyone who has hit the subscribe button. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my YouTube journey in videos to follow. In the meantime, this is new for me. This is new. I just started this back in August, I believe, or maybe July, somewhere in there. And immediately I started getting subscribers, and I started getting all of you hitting that subscribe button, hitting that like button. And as a new YouTuber, that's so important. Watching the videos to the end, there's all these things that Google wants from you, all these different analytics. And really, at the base, I'm going to talk about this in goal setting in a future video, but at the base of it, I don't really care how many subscribers I have. I don't care how many watch hours I have. What I do care about is producing this content to give you guys good value. And here's the thing. If I don't have enough subscribers, if I don't have enough watch hours, then Google Analytics says, bye-bye, and your videos don't get to anyone. So what's the point of making a video if no one's ever going to get value out of it? So thank you guys so much, because it's not only helping this channel, you guys are out there helping other people, because every time you subscribe or when you share this video to your social media or to your friends, anytime you do that, hopefully you're sharing because you got value out of that video, and then that other person gets value out of that video. it's like I always tell my students, my favorite students, I have students who are psychologists, who are like anywhere from like psychologists, doctors, like in the medical, psychological field, whether that's mental or physical, like in the medical field, all the way from people who are, you know, like real estate or salespeople wanting to improve communication, to people who are there just for themselves, just for their physical growth and development, for their personal growth and development. There we go. People who are there just for their personal growth and development. And I love every single one of them. And I have to be honest, my favorite students are the ones who then go out there and use everything that they're taught and help improve other people's lives. At Empowerment Inc., our mission statement is to empower the planet. And in my teaching, I try and go with that every single moment. Every single time I get up on that stage to train people, I'm wanting them, not only for them to be empowered, but for them to go out and help empower other people. Because it starts with us. It starts with us inside. And once we empower ourselves, once we grow ourselves, we're then able to go and share that growth, share that wealth of knowledge and information to others, so that, well, we can make the world a better place, because hopefully that's what it's all about, right? Or hopefully that's what you think. That's what I think anyway. And so I am grateful for my students. I am grateful for my subscribers, for those of you who are sharing this content with others and getting that information out there. So thank you, thank you, thank you very much. And as of right now, I still have time to read the comments. And so I want to give a shout out to a couple people. The first shout out is to Johnny, who was, having an interesting time with the concept of truth that was stated in last week's video. And one of the things that he said was, it's been a long journey, but nudges like this video are big reasons why I continue. Thanks, Sabrina. And thank you, Johnny. Thank you for posting, because, you took that time, just like the students who wrote the card, you took that time to start that conversation. And with that, I am so grateful that you found the nudge of this video a reason to continue, because that's the reason why I'm making these videos. So part of my personal belief, my belief that why I'm here, is to help other people remember who they are, remember why they incarnated into this lifetime, versus just being lost, versus we all come into this lifetime, it's my belief, we all come into this lifetime with a goal, with a mission. And it's not just my belief, it's many people's belief, especially in the esoteric, woo-woo type community. And with that, I believe that we all should do our part to find out what our mission is. Why did we come here? What is our goal? What is our overall life's purpose? And it's been some of the realizations for me that part of my purpose is to help other people like you guys, is to help you remember what your purpose is. So thank you very much for that comment, Johnny. And the next person I want to give a shout out to is Shelly. So Shelly says, I've been wondering about this, and you've showed me a few different things now. I feel more confident that that's the way I'm going. I was wondering if I was sticking to the right path. Thank you. And thank you, Shelly, for taking the time to watch the video and for taking the time to think about your path, because so many of us, we just stay asleep. We just stay in the reality of, we get trapped in our everyday lives, just kind of going about and not thinking about our path, not thinking about what it is that we're supposed to be doing. So you, Shelly, are taking that time to put thought into, okay, what is your path? Is this the right path? Am I going the right way? And one of the things that you'll probably hear me say in multiple videos is that whenever there's a universal law. And whenever you ask a question of the universe or God or your source, whatever that is, your higher power, when you ask a question of it, is this the right thing? Should I do this? Should I do that? When you ask that question, there's this universal law that it has to be answered. So Shelly, it sounds like you might have been kind of thinking about, hey, am I going the right direction? You had that question. And it wasn't me who answered that. It wasn't the video who answered it. It was the higher power directing you to watch this specific video that talks about this specific thing at this specific time. because that was the answer that you needed to hear. So thank you, Shelley, for investigating your path and sticking with it. I appreciate you. Now, we're going to get into the 4 ways that you can practice gratitude. And what I actually did was number 1. So the first way you can practice gratitude is to tell them. Just say thank you. Just write them a thank you card. Comment on their YouTube channel. One of the things that my family and I have done throughout the years at Thanksgiving is we'll go around and we'll do like a gratitude thank you type of session. So there's different ways we've done it. Sometimes like one person will go and they'll just simply say like something they were grateful for that year. Like they mentioned one thing that was like impactful for them, or something they were grateful for. And the next person will go around and each person will say something they're grateful for. Other times we've done a thing where we will say what we're grateful for about each person at the table. So one person will start and they'll, look at the person to like their left, for example, and they'll say, I'm grateful for you because, and list something that they have been grateful for that person about. And they'll go around to each person at the table, and then the next person will go, and so on. So probably one of the most simplest ways to practice gratitude is to just actually thank the other person. And if it's not a person, perhaps it's a situation, then you can simply either thank your source. Like I do this often. So when certain things happen and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was really powerful. Like, thank you for that lesson, or thank you for, bringing this into my life, or whatever's going on. I will actually thank my source and thank you very much for this experience, or for this event, or for, this video, or whatever it may be. This is exactly what I needed at the time. Thank you for like pointing out this book. Like this was perfect information right now. So, but basically thanking the person or your source, or just kind of like this situation, like if you're an atheist or agnostic, just the situation that's happening around you. And the second way you can practice gratitude is acts of kindness. Now, this is sort of almost backwards in some ways, and acts of kindness was something that I studied in positive psychology as well, and it wasn't quite like linked like this. However, the two actually I found are very linked together. And what we did research on in class and everything is that acts of kindness is actually linked to your happiness. So the more random acts of kindness that you do, it actually increases your happiness rate. I wrote like a whole paper on this because it's such a fascinating topic. Here's how you apply it to like a practice of gratitude. So for example, this is something I actually wrote about during my class, and in this particular section was we were doing research, and we were doing studies and stuff like that, and we were studying random acts of kindness. And one of the things that we did is we all went out and did random acts of kindness. And there was this particular Office Depot that I would go to frequently. And there was, for some reason, this one employee was like always there when I was there. So I would always see him and, kind of got to know him a little bit, like didn't really know his name, but, the hi kind of thing. And he was extremely helpful. Like he helped me pick out, printer and, ink and like all these different things. Like, so he was very helpful. And every time I went in there, he was very knowledgeable, knew where things were, was able to answer questions I had and stuff like that. And one day I went in there and his manager was just like super yelling at him, like really tearing him down and treating him in like a very unprofessional way. Now, in the past, I have done things like I was a manager at a retail store. And I've done different things throughout my life. Currently, I'm one of the directors at Empowerment Inc., along with being a trainer. So I've had lots and lots of experience in like managerial type of, communication and stuff like that. The other thing that the manager was doing is he was yelling at the employee and really tearing him down on the sales floor. And if you know anything, if you've ever been in management or if you've ever taken any kind of management training, you would know that that's a big no-no for several reasons. For one, you never want your customers to like know about this situation, because that can put like a bad idea in their head about your company. So just from that perspective alone, that was super unprofessional. Not only that, but you're putting whatever's going on with that employee on display for everyone walking into that store. And that's not appropriate behavior either. And you can even be reported to HR and stuff like that. So what I did was, when the manager was done like talking down to this employee and walked off, I went up to him and I asked him, hey, what was going on? Like, what was happening? And he started telling me different things. It turns out like he's a graduate student, just kind of like working his way through graduate school and all this other stuff. And so I'm like, okay, thank you for sharing with me. And I was like, I want to speak to your manager. So the manager came out and I was speaking to the manager and I said, I want you to know that that employee is actually the reason why I shop at your store. I said, every single time I come in, he's always been super knowledgeable about anything that I wanted to purchase, knows where everything is, has always been able to answer my questions and everything. And sometimes I actually even go out of my way to go to this Home Depot than any other Home Depots in the area, because I trust this store and I know I can get good service at this store. And I went on to tell him about how his behavior is extremely inappropriate, and how, as a customer, honestly, and not as just a customer, but in a person, like as a person who works in management, I was honestly offended the way he was treating his employee. And I let him know that his behavior was completely unacceptable. Here's the thing though, because I was grateful for that employee, later on, I ended up doing some random acts of kindness that then translates to that employee being grateful for me. So it's like this whole cycle of gratitude. I'm grateful for this employee who originally helped me with my printer and other questions. I see the situation, I then help the employee with a random act of kindness. I didn't have to do that. I could have just purchased my stuff and been on my way and about my day. And instead, I took the time to show this employee my gratitude. And so that was like my way of thanking him. And again, it kind of cycles around, because then he's thankful for me. I didn't do it so that he would be thankful for me. I did it because, well, it was the right thing to do. And it was my way of showing my gratitude for him. For all of the times that he helped me, I then helped him. So random acts of kindness. Things, like people do things for you all the time. Like you drop a pen, they pick up the pen for you. You can be grateful for that small little thing. Maybe you were about to go to a class where you really needed to take a lot of notes, and you would have really needed that pen. Who knows what it is? But people are doing random acts of kindness for you all the time. So why not be thankful for that, and then go out and do a random act of kindness as well to show your gratefulness. The third way you can practice gratitude is to journal. This is probably the most common, or at least the most talked about way that people mention, like psychologists and everything mention, to talk about or to think about or to have a practice of having a practice of gratitude. And journaling is super simple. You obviously get a journal, whether that's like an app on your phone or an actual notebook. You can just have some sort of way to write it down, even if it's, I don't recommend doing like a auditory, like just speaking. If you're doing speech to text, that's a little bit different, but there's a reason why I don't recommend like recording them as an audio, which I'll share with you in a moment. But basically having something to write down. And what you can do is perhaps at the end of your night, you just write in your journal something really, something that you were grateful for. It can be really simple, but something that you were grateful for throughout your day. Just write it down. You can start with one thing. If you have more, you can add, maybe like 3 or 5 different things that you were grateful for, but at least write one down. Now, if you prefer writing in the morning, perfectly fine too. What you'll do is first thing when you get up, you're going to write down what you're grateful for the day before. I recommend evening because everything's still kind of fresh in your mind. You haven't slept yet. And again, if you're a morning writer, that's okay too. The most important part is you either want to do it when you end the day, again, because it's fresh, or when you begin the day, for a couple of reasons, because it's still sort of fresh, like nothing's happened that day to then like cloud maybe what happened the other day. So it's still fresh. And the other reason why too is because if you're having like a practice at the end of the day or in the morning, you're more likely to get it done. If you have it like say in the middle of the day, then sometimes it's like, oh, well, I'm busy, or I'm doing this or I'm doing that. And then perhaps it gets forgotten about. So I usually recommend doing the morning and the evening one. And again, what you're doing is you're just writing something that you are grateful for that day. Now there's different ways to do this as well. Sometimes you can do it like on a weekly basis. I don't recommend any longer than a weekly basis. And if that's all you can do, I would much rather you do it on a weekly basis, like maybe, Monday is like your set day or something like that. Have like a set day if you're gonna do it on a weekly basis. Like I said, it's better to do the daily, and if you're not going to do it at all, then at least do the weekly, because the weekly is better than nothing, right? Now, here's the reason why I don't recommend it being like an audio unless you're doing speech to text. And the reason why is because one of the really important things to do is make a practice of, like, at the end of the year or maybe on a special day, to read through your journal. The audios, it's a lot, it's not as fast, it's not as quick to be able to like listen to all of the audios, whereas the journal, you can pretty much open the page and it's almost as if you don't have to even read the whole thing. You just, your eyes visually just see keywords and then boom, like the memory is back. So a lot of times I recommend doing this around maybe like Thanksgiving, because it's a great time to be thankful, or perhaps like on New Year's, bringing in, finishing out the old year, bringing in the new, and really kind of like concluding that year of what you were grateful for that year. Another fun day to do it would be on your birthday, just as kind of like a birthday present to yourself, to have all of these different things that you've been grateful for throughout the year. So those are the main days I recommend doing this, and what you're going to want to do, like I said, is kind of like read through the whole journal. And what that does is it reassociates you with all of those amazing happy memories. And again, that increases your happiness, being able to review all of that and seeing what you're grateful for. The other thing it does is that when you go into the next year, whether that's because you're doing it New Year's or maybe your birthday's in the middle of the year, you're still kind of beginning that like annual cycle till you get back to your birthday. So whatever time of year it is, it kind of concludes that part of that journal year, and it concludes it with happy memories that then it turns out the next year, the next like journal cycle, you're going to be able to have like more things you're grateful for. And it's because of a process called the reticular activating system. And it's a part of your brain that works like if you are thinking about something, if you have something on your mind, you're going to see more and more of that particular thing. So it's an actual process, and I'll give you a really good example of it. Pick one of your favorite cars. Now, if you're a supercar enthusiast, it can't be a car that like you would never see on the street. So it can't be a car that would be like a race car or something that's never on the street, but just a typical car on the street. Pick something that you feel like you don't normally see, and start thinking about it a bunch. All of a sudden, like say, I'm just going to use a Tesla because I've actually done this with the Tesla. So say you pick a Tesla, and maybe you don't see very many, you haven't really noticed a bunch of Teslas on the street or something, and all of a sudden, like you start thinking about it, you think about it in your mind, and all of a sudden you're going to start seeing them like they're everywhere. Like all of a sudden, all of these Teslas just appeared out of nowhere. Well, it turns out they didn't. It turns out when you focus on something, you actually see more of it. So having that journal gratitude practice and then reading it over, the following journal cycle, you're going to be noticing more things to be grateful for. The fourth way to practice gratitude is to meditate. So there are ways you can do like different gratitude meditations where you're actually like replaying what happened. So for example, you have something that happened to you like during the day, and you're like, oh wow, that's so amazing that happened. Like I'm so grateful for this happened. Well, perhaps like at the end of the night, or maybe the next morning if you prefer the morning meditations, what you can do is get into a meditative state and it's like you replay everything that happened. So you replay all of the events that kind of like led up to the gratitude event, replay that gratitude event, and really feel the feelings of being in that gratitude state, like that state of gratitude. So you're basically going to be like thinking about that particular event that happened. You're going to see what you saw, hear what you heard, and really feel the feelings of having that like, oh my gosh, I'm so thankful, I'm so grateful for this. So that's another way that you can put like gratitude in your practice. Now, here's the surprise. So for me, a lot of YouTubers, they're doing this because like they want to stop doing their 9-to-5 job. Like they want to give up whatever it was they were doing. And the number one way to be like a full-time YouTuber is to do a video every single day. Here's the thing though for me, I absolutely love my job. I love traveling the country. I love teaching people new things. So for me, this isn't something that I'm doing because I want to give up my 9-to-5. It's something that I'm doing because I want to reach more people. I want to be able to give value out there to even more people than I can reach. Like this is international. So people have been, watching in different countries and stuff like that. I wouldn't be able to do that if I was just doing the trainer position. So that's why I'm doing it, to add that value, to spread this type of knowledge out there. What that means though is that I don't have the time to do a video a day. Like I just can't. In fact, sometimes doing one video a week is really pushing it for what I can do and still like do things like, I don't know, sleep or something. So what I'm doing to say thank you so much for all that you guys have done for me, subscribing, sharing, all of that stuff. Thank you for all the energy you guys have put into watching the videos to the end and everything. As a way to say thank you, I'm going to be doing 2 videos this week. So on Thanksgiving Day, I'm going to give you guys a free guided meditation for your gratitude practice. So I'll be taking you through a free guided meditation that really focuses on something that you're grateful for, so that you can learn how that meditation works and how to put that into your practice. So if you guys are watching this when the video comes out, look for the new one on Thursday. And if you guys are watching this later, then it'll be in the link below. Now the next video series I'm super excited about. I'm going to be doing a video series, it's going to be a 7 video series, and it's going to be on the 7 keys that you can do to unlock the new earth reality and master manifesting. So it's going to be 7 keys to unlock all of that good stuff about manifesting and being in that new 5D vibration. All right, well, I will see you guys next week, or actually I'll see you on Thursday. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And as always, choose love. Ooh, if you watched last week's video, you'll know why, like you'll know the importance of why I always say that at the end of the video. All right, thanks for watching. Mahalo. And in fact, you can actually be reported to any kind of human, what is that called? Human management? That's not it. Resource management. I think it's resource management. Anyway, no, it's not resource management. HR. Maybe it is human resources. It is.